And now, First Warn 5 weather with meteorologist Alan Shoemaker.
Hey, it is going to be kind of a warm or somewhat hot day out there as we head past Labor Day now across the valley. So look for kind of a partly sunny, partly cloudy afternoon most areas. There is, again, a chance for a shower or two in spots. We're not looking for widespread rain, but you might see a shower here and there as the day goes on. The afternoon kind of unfolds. But otherwise, most of the time, it's going to be kind of dry, hot, and humid weather. And there could be a cold front coming in on Thursday in the South Texas. Models been waffling back all over the place. I still think a front will probably come in at some point on Thursday and cool us down some, so we won't be seeing the mid to upper 90s anytime over the next few days after the front comes through. Cools things off a little bit. Now we are in the low 90s right now in spots. 90 in Weslaco, 92 in Brownsville already, 86 in Harlingen. The heat index, there's not a lot of humidity in the air, so it still feels pretty sticky out there. We don't have the really high heat indices where they're like 110, 112, where we had heated advisories like we did to start the month of September. But it's still pretty sticky out there if you are outdoors working or playing this afternoon. Now, we should climb a few more degrees into the low to mid 90s as the afternoon goes on. Only about a 10% chance for a shower or storm. We had about 20% chance for rain yesterday, and we saw a flare up in the afternoon, mostly kind of over western Cameron and southeast Hidalgo County yesterday, but I think less rain today. But still, maybe a shower in spots today. Otherwise, still, again, fairly hot and humid. The best chance of a shower, if there is one, kind of coming this afternoon. And then still some light breezes around. Not a windy day anywhere, but just a light breeze this afternoon. Now, September is the time when we start to kind of wrap up summer, head into fall. And the average temperature starts to fall anyway when you look at history. And this is looking at McAllen as the summer heat kind of fades away. The average high, this is the average high at the beginning of the month, starts out at a 96.2. By the middle of the month, coming up next week, we're down about 93.1. By the end of the month, we're down close to 90 degrees. And by mid-October, about 5 weeks from now, we're kind of in the upper 80s for an average high. So the summer heat will eventually fade away, but you can sneak a cold front in to cool things off in September. Now, there is a cold front on the map moving into North Texas. You don't see the Amarillo list on this map. Lubbock there at 77 is just on top of the front, but it is much cooler behind the front. Temperature in Amarillo has come down a good bit. Yesterday they were in the low 90s. They're only in the low 50s now, so there is some chilly air in the state. We look a little farther to the north, and there is some cold air around. It's actually snowing in Colorado right now, only 34 degrees in Denver. They were only 2 degrees away from a record low this morning. So that gives you an idea that there is a pretty good chunk of cold air for this time of year. I mean, when it's summer and temperatures are barely above freezing across areas of Wyoming and Colorado during the daytime, and it's cold enough for snow, we get the idea there's some cold air out there for summer. And here we go. There's Amarillo on the map. This is a 24-hour temperature change map. Amarillo's 37 degrees colder today than they were yesterday at this time. Most of Texas about the same, but that colder air trying to move south. Now, it won't hold its intensity together, so we probably won't drop 37 or 40 degrees if the front moves through, but we could see temperatures come down again as the front could try to roll in on sometime on Thursday. Now, you look across Texas. Here is Future Track using a NAM computer model, which sometimes may be overdoing the cool air a bit, but I think it has the timing of any front coming in a little more accurate. So by this afternoon, evening, we're still pretty warm, 80s and 90s across South Texas and the valley. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, no change. It's still warm. It's still muggy. We go from the low 80s in the morning to upper 80s, the lower 90s, mid 90s in the afternoon. But notice all the chilly air diving into West Texas. By tomorrow afternoon, temperatures may have a hard time getting out of the 40s across parts of West Texas. I mean, that's crazy. It's still summer. Again, that intensity of cold air not able to make it down here. But you see the cold front could be moving into the valley sometime on Thursday. And if the front comes in during the daytime, we may climb up into the 80s for a while. But I think if the front's able to push through, that may drop us back into the 70s for a while with some clouds filling in and maybe some showers by Thursday afternoon. Also dropping the humidity a bit. So we're not talking, 40s here. That would be beyond historic. But, to see temperatures, instead of being in the 90s, maybe fall back into the low 80s or upper 70s for a while could be refreshing if the front's able to push through the valley on Thursday. And it looks like we will stay maybe a little cooler than normal through at least Friday. And now, it's not unprecedented. I showed you this yesterday, but in case you didn't tune in on Labor Day, on average, the first cold front comes in around September 28th. But the earliest over the last 25 years has been September 5th, and the latest we had to wait all the way until October 22nd That was a long time to wait for a cold front. That means if that date came out, we'd still have like 6 more weeks left until a front got here. So again, there is a chance for a front trying to roll into the valley on Thursday to bring some clouds, maybe some showers and cooler temperatures. But also their long-range forecasts do show maybe another front coming in South Texas next Monday or Tuesday, so we'll be talking more about that as it gets closer. I don't think we'll see a lot of rain if the front gets close, but the best chance is kind of Wednesday night going into Thursday as the front rolls in. I think the heaviest rain may stay maybe 100 to 200 miles north of the valley, so if you are traveling north of the area the next couple of days, you may run into some heavier rain. But the first 1-5 AccuWeather 7-day forecast, 90s today and tomorrow. Thursday's kind of tricky because depending on the speed of the front and where you are, we could make it into the 80s, but again, we could fall back into the 70s during the daytime if the front's able to move through and get kind of breezy and cooler with some rain around. And Friday, still close to 90 degrees, but the humidity not terribly high, but it will be on the rise. It looks like the front will kind of drift back north, so highs in the low 90s this weekend. But again, another front could be nearby on Monday. That's why we pump up the rain chances late Sunday and Monday with the next cold front, which could at least cool temperatures off and bring some rain. We'll keep tracking it, of course, throughout the week in your first 1-5 forecast here on Channel 5 News at noon.